Hey, it's Megan from Chief Marketer Network from the broadcast tower at CES, here with Brad Alperin from Outfront Media.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's great.
Tell me why you're here. Tell me a little bit about Outfront Media and what brought you here year after year, and what are you seeing?
So I'm at Outfront, which I'm new. I've been there for about 6 months. Outfront, we're in this journey of kind of going from a legacy out-of-home company, so think like billboards and bus shelters, becoming this sort of much more engaging, experiential, holistic marketing platform where we can kind of engage people in multiple ways. Anything that sort of exists in IRL. So we're going from out-of-home, OH, to IRL in real life. And that's kind of my focus. One of the things I'm paying attention to this year is how does all this stuff impact marketers, and what does this tell us about where things are going in that IRL space and how we can leverage it?
Excellent. What is something you're seeing that's interesting and relevant to Outfront Media here at CES this year compared to past years? What's on your radar? What are you trying to zone in on and pay attention to specifically this year?
So I think my take when I come here, and I've been coming here for about 10 years, there's a million people with a take on the technology, and they're going to tell you why AI is cool and how it's going to change things, and virtual reality this and hovercraft that. So my take is always a little bit different. I'm looking to see, this is a giant industry that's trying to figure out what people want. It's trying to figure out what problems need solving. And I think there are lessons and trends that marketers can learn, whether they're in the consumer electronics space or not, that they can apply to their marketing every single day. And I'm looking for some of those clues.
That sounds great. So feeding into that, what are goals that you're trying to take from this show and specifically apply through this upcoming year?
So when I look at like a lot of what's happening here, so one of the things that I've been noticing this year in particular is a significant shift back away from the focus on purely software and moving bits and bytes back into moving atoms, right? Back into things that are tangible and real. So like we were all like virtual and we were all software and AI, but now that technology's advanced enough that we're putting it back into physical things. Like Caterpillar is doing earth movers that are AI enabled to help be safer and more efficient when the worker is using them. That's something that happens in the physical world. And I think, as you look at a world where people are becoming increasingly distrustful of virtual things, right? Like, is that what I'm seeing on TikTok, is that real or is it artificial intelligence? Like that means that we've got to pay more attention to like the real world again. Marketers have to pay attention to it. You got what Vayner was talking about, how Gen Alpha is moving away from digital. They're abandoning smartphones and going for dumb phones and standalone cameras and vinyl records again, right? So this whole generation is going, we need to exist in the real world again. I think as marketers, we've got to figure out, how do we take advantage of that? How do we use that to connect with people? And there's a lot of tools here to do that, but I think there's also lessons to learn about how other people are playing in that space that we can help share with our clients, with our marketers.
Right, absolutely. Back to AI, everybody has an opinion on AI.
Yes.
AI is everywhere and it's not going
throw
away.
a cat around here, which I don't recommend without hitting something that is AI enabled.
No, it's not going anywhere. We need to embrace it or be left behind is what people are saying. What are you saying about AI? Where are we going?
I mean, I think there's two ways that I tend to think about it when we look around here. One is, it can be a really powerful tool to help kind of supercharge the way you do things, right? So we're looking a lot at AI and how it can help us sort of empower creatives. How we can take sort of the more repetitive tasks off their plate. Like think about in our space, we have all these different size ads. Once you have an idea, can we let the machine do the resizes, but like augment that creative capability with that? So that's one thing. I think a lot of people are doing that. But the other is at CES, one of the things you start to figure out is we get so excited about the shiny new object, the new piece of technology. We cannot wait to figure out how to use it. But what we don't always do is stop and think about what's the knock-on effects of that technology? What opportunities does it introduce, and what threats does it introduce?
I don't think we're paying enough attention to threats or danger zones just yet.
When literally everything can talk to me, right? Like, what does that mean in the world? When the car can kind of like get my attention in 19 ways, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Right. I think we've passed the shiny new object and we're starting to enter that phase. We're thinking twice. Is this a good thing, or should I be a little concerned? We're kind of in the middle of that.
Well, and as like we're saying, like as we move to a place where like, think about how like people are starting to distrust what they see in digital spaces and virtual spaces and things that are mediated by screens. So the importance of things that exist in your world that I can see and that I can touch, like that becomes more important. Experiences that you can have in the real world. As a marketer, how do you make that a bigger part of your
Right.
overall marketing plan.
Right. I mean,
As-
people like rare things.
Yes.
And that is unfortunately becoming rare.
and I
So
can
getting
trust
back to
something if
that.
I can literally see it and trust it. I know
Yeah.
it's there, and
Right.
I have a qualitatively different feel about something that appears to me in my world than something that appears to me on a screen, and I'm not sure if it's real or not.
Right.
Same
Right.
message, but I feel very differently about it.
It's really causing that double think for people. Is this real? Is this not? And that's not going to be a great feeling sitting with people. So
as
navigating
marketers,
through that's really important.
We've got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's narrowing where we can build trust. It's narrowing where we can create authentic connections.
Right. To
And
get
so-
ahead of that, to create that trust with your clients up front quicker than they'll find elsewhere is maybe going to be a really
Yeah. So how do
important
we as marketers think about that? How do you change the way what's the mix of ways in which you're connecting to people, or what's the center versus what's at the edge?
Right.
Becomes sort of a new calculation for people.
Right. It's a lot of questions, Brad.
I'm big on asking the right question.
That's great. That's great. So between all the trends and the AI and all the shiny new things here, I really enjoyed the massage chairs over here, and Mario Kart on a laser TV. What is something that you've lasered your focus in, and what's something fun and cool that you've seen personally and professionally?
Let me tell you a quick story. Because I've been coming here for 10 years, and so there are fewer and fewer things that really make me stop and go, wow. But what's interesting is the smaller things that have bigger impact. So I was over at a company that makes these OEM parts for automotive companies. And I was talking to one of the engineers, and I was telling him how I like to understand these trends and what are people trying to solve. He said, let me show you something. And he pulled me into a high-end Audi, and he had me sit down. He's like, when you're driving a car and the sun is coming right at your face, and you're stuck. If you try and put the visor down too far, you can't see the road in front of you. And if you don't put it down far enough, you can't see what's in front of you.
Panic.
He's like, pull down the visor. So I pulled down the visor in this car, and it was clear glass, which feels like that's not what a visor is supposed to do. He said, hit that button on the visor. And I hit the button, and it became partly opaque. He said, hit that next button next to it, and it got a little bit darker. He's like, so now I can see the road and block the sun. He said, hit that other button on the end, and I did, and it instantly turned into a mirror. And the thing that I think is interesting about that is how one tangible physical experience can create an entire halo feeling around how you think about that product or that brand. He was like, this is a 10 times more expensive piece of a car than a regular visor, and that nobody thinks is broken.
Right. Yep.
But once you try it, you're like, I can't go back. It
Right.
changes. There's a thoughtfulness about it. There's a deliberateness about it that changes the way you think about that car and that brand.
Right.
And I think the best marketing finds ways to bring elements of that to brands, to businesses. That's a lesson you can learn here. It doesn't have to be the biggest, bestest everything, but the right, thoughtful parts of your plan can change the way people feel about the whole thing, about your brand, about your product, and about your business.
Right. I love it. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Excited
much.
just to see what you do this upcoming year.
Thank you very much. I had a great time.
Yeah, me
Thanks
too.
for having me.
Thank you.